getting everything in alignment to see what type of week we gonna have. Obviously, this is just a weekly outlook, so stuff changes. But for what it's worth right now, we're gonna pretty much get the projections, and if we have any surprises, anything changes as price action develops, we'll cross that bridge when it gets there, right? But it's better to get prepared than not be prepared. So, with that being said, we here for the weekly outlook. All right. Definitely appreciate y'all once again for tuning in. So, I like to start with my favorites. GU, Nas. You might be able to throw gold in there now. I've been trading gold a little bit more. Handful of others, but just starting off with the starting lineup is pretty much those pairs, right? And we ended the week with some GU sales. Definitely happy that started to play out a little bit. It didn't have a crazy significant drop, but for a Friday, you can't really complain too much about catching a little move. I know a lot of y'all might have closed the trade out. Some of y'all might still be holding, right? I'm actually still holding on one of my personal accounts, but we'll see. Hopefully, the market can open up a little more bearish, right? And I'm going to take a quick look at the DXY as well, just so we can have a little more context in terms of what GU might want to do. All right. See if it's going to continue bearish or whatnot. So if I just take a look at the DXY right here, obviously we had a huge, huge, huge bullish push just after sweeping these lows out, right? Now the market's been bearish for quite a while, pretty much since I want to say since Trump probably took office or so. Um, what was that? Late January, like January 20th or something like that. So, wait, yeah, so somewhere around here. As you see, the market has definitely been bearish ever since, right? So that is important to point out. We are definitely in a bear market, is at least in terms of what the DXY is doing, and just on the grand scheme of things, we are breaking these lows here, which is probably the reason we did get a slight reaction as well. Because when the market takes out these lows, they don't just continue. Some they can, but a lot of times they won't, right? When you break a significant area, a lot of times the market will, take some profit there, and it will, give you a bounce. This is primarily the reason why, old lows and stuff and old highs are, what we use is take profit areas, because when the market takes profit, that means a lot of people as well are taking profit. And when that happens, say a bunch of people are selling and all of that, selling, if they take profit, that means, they sell orders are being, closed, which will allow more buy pressure to come in, at least temporarily, until people want to open up more potential sales, whether it be from here, whether it be a little bit higher from here, whatever the case may be, whether we want to come out and clear some internal liquidity and come up here and then drop. Whatever happens, ultimately, regardless, you still want to take profit at these areas because you don't know exactly what the reaction might look like, right? So in terms of the DXY, what do I believe will actually happen? I mean, again, I'm leaning on the sides of bullishness to give me, GU sales, right? Now, obviously, we can just come clear in this area and really just continue melting. I do feel like it just kind of depends on the climate, a new week with tariffs, new week with global conflict, new week with all this stuff. A lot can happen, right? I'm not gonna sit here and act 100% like I know for certain. That's why we just got to go based off the technicals and have, excellent risk to reward. So even if we're wrong, we still protected. So I do see the market going bullish temporarily. Best case scenario for me is I would like to see it come clear these highs right here. We can get back above 105. Maybe the market wants to react from this level up here. There's a little imbalance right there. It's not much above it though. So hopefully, maybe we get a little bullishness temporarily. That could be a couple weeks, truth be told. So it's not all that temporary. It is temporary, but it's not like you can't capitalize off the trend because this is the daily time frame. Keep that in mind. So let's take a peek down to the 4 hour real quick. Actually go to the one. So overall, price action is a little funky. Not a lot of imbalances and stuff like that. You got a little one right here, but outside of that, you don't really have much imbalance down here. So, the market could just continue respecting the order flow it's currently in. Had a little imbalance there that got respected, and got a little gap right here as well. That could be an interesting play. All right, market just retrace a little bit, then take off. That'll help us with our GU sell as well, right? Now, so right now I do have a little bullishness for the week on the DXY. That would align with what it is I want to see with GU because obviously we shorted GU to end the week. Now, just to make it all make sense, I feel like we should at least come target this low. It makes sense to me. Other than that, where could we go beyond that? You kind of just gotta wait and see. Only time will tell. Market is pretty bullish at this moment. It's not a lot to go off of in terms of a higher low entry, but for what it's worth, you just trade the current range that you in. So I got a high here, a low here. This is gonna be the range that I'm trading. And anything beyond that, the market wants to keep dropping it, it'll really just be extra money. But I like to trade the range I'm in, so that way, regardless of the trend on the higher time frame, I can still capitalize, right? So that's GU. Market's already dropping. If you get a retracement though, I mean, I feel like, you'd probably be valid. Definitely got to see where the market opens. Definitely got to get a market time to wake up. So I'm definitely not saying hop in exactly at, the market open or nothing, but who knows? Maybe depending on where the market opens and if it has time to adjust beforehand, that could be a possibility. Really, I like to go for higher fair value gaps. So if I had to pick one, I'd say pick the top one, right? Just so you can use one of them as just, complete liquidity here. And then even use this one here as internal liquidity. All right. Best case scenario, it could even take this out, right? And I know I'm giving y'all a lot of options, but it's essentially how I like to play the markets. So that way I can always be reacting in live time. I don't want to just marry one analysis. So with that being said, say the market come right here and it's just not reacting at all. It's just say it's creeping up real slow. I don't really get that, volume kick into the market to come sweep highs and stuff. I'll probably just be looking at this zone up here, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You just want to, take the trades that again are duplicatable over time. It's not just about catching every move the market has to offer. It's about catching the moves that you can replicate day in and day out, right? So, truth be told, this would probably be the first area I pay attention to. Based off the reaction, I got to see the market comes here. I probably just end up taking it off a risk to award alone. You know, um, take the trade here. You can ride the market down to the lows. So that would obviously be, worth the jab at the end of the day. We talking about a healthy 5 pip stop. Just down to these lows, it's a 1 to 10, right? So that's what I mean, where it's like, okay, you get a 1 to 10, not to say, trade without confirmations, but maybe not try to look for so much that you miss the 1 to 10. Like it's okay to look for confirmations, but more importantly, you want to, make sure you're in the trade. So, um, that's one thing there. So I am looking for more bearishness on GU. Hopefully, we do get enough of a retracement to capitalize on that. Right. Hmm. So far as gold is concerned, take a quick look at that. So far as gold is concerned, obviously we took the buy down here, and market actually came all the way back down, and I made a similar mistake, right? Similar mistake to what I did like a week or two ago. I tried to sell again, right? I tried to sell here, and prior, or not prior, but after, tapping internal range liquidity, right? And I definitely, taking mental inventory over that because once it's tapped, regardless of how far the market comes back, regardless of how weak, lows might look, it's just the principle, right? So what's crazy is I ended up taking buys here and I ended up closing at these highs, thinking that the sell would play through. So it's like really I could have just held that buy, been very satisfied. But you live and you learn, make mistakes. It's all good. And you're never gonna be perfect as a trader. It's just picking the right spots to be able to pull money out the markets for when you are ready. But you're always gonna have an occasional loss here and there. But again, making another mental note, if I tap into internal range liquidity, I will not trade towards it again. Okay. I will not trade towards it again, no matter what, even if I'm super confident in it, because I don't want that to happen again. Just trade away. That's how you get the big moves like that. But in terms of gold, I definitely feel like, we have some more bullishness to go. Got a set of weak highs resting over here. So I would definitely be on the lookout for that. That looks pretty promising. I feel like the market can go target these highs. Once we do target those highs, you gotta be careful because gold is so bullish right now. You don't want to get caught in the wrong direction too many times. But primarily I'd probably be looking for ways to get in on the buy side of things. I know that 33.83, just a round number 33.85, that's pretty much the target. So now it's just more about finding any space and opportunity. You got a little area imbalance right here, which is on top of an old supply zone. So that could be considered a breaker block, right? Could be. Oh, a breaker block is any area that pretty much looked like it could have been an area of supply demand, but when the market came back to it, it ends up violating it, right? So you see right here, I was looking to sell, but instead the market violated that area. So when that happens, the market will start creating, liquidity like it is now, and then markets will come down and give you something like that. All right. So I definitely keep my eyes out on that. Keep your eyes out for that. All right. So that's something I definitely see happening on gold, more bullishness. But if you don't get that, it's gonna be very difficult to get in. Like, cause I don't like getting in without clearing some sort of liquidity. So best thing that can happen, we got this little build up right here, little area consolidation. Just if the market could get underneath that, I do believe it can keep going. Right. I do believe it can keep going just based off the fact we already tapped into internal range liquidity. All right. So definitely keep your eyes on gold. But again, if it just keeps taking off, we might just be out of luck and not be able to catch nothing, unfortunately. All right. I do believe this is the week that we can get the drop, right? This is the week we can probably get the drop on Nas. So obviously we're already in the zone. Great highs, market pushes lower. Now we take those highs again. Obviously, you got to see how the market opens, but would not be surprised to see if the high today is put in pretty quickly. I just look at those. So we got GU, gold, Nas. Now I'm just gonna pretty much go over some of the more typical pairs, pairs that I don't really trade every day, but still good to know what they're gonna do, right? Okay. Um, GBP CAD looks pretty interesting. I believe this to be a trap. I do. As much as I want GU to drop everything else, like I just feel like this is a trap for some reason. Feel like it's just sticking out like a sore thumb. But if we come up here by chance, I would like this. I don't want to take it from here because I already had this area imbalance that got filled. So this is pretty much balanced price action. The only unbalanced price action is above this width from here to here, right? So if I was to, yeah, I'd be more inclined to take this trade up here, actually. I feel like everybody sees this pattern. Everybody sees that pattern. I'm just trying to look for the liquidity. I see some built up right here. I see a little bit right here, but not enough to, do too much. Like a lot of people gonna look at this sell. They're gonna be a little premature. And then it's gonna make this pocket of money look real attractive. You manipulate up and then catch an ace entry out of this strong high. GA, similar situation right here. Again, I'm not gonna buy it up, but I will wait for it, right? Every time I seem like when I try to buy it up to a sell, it's like the market want to play games. So I'm not even gonna force it. But I would like to see the market come back up to this area here. You come back up to that area, we might have something, right? But all in all, this price action has been absolute mess as well. Like all of this is just it looks crazy to be honest. Don't really see nothing interesting there. Don't really see nothing there. Okay, so for the GUs, pretty much solid across the board in terms of I do believe GU gonna drop. Worst case scenario, go a little higher, then it drops. GCAD, same thing, right? I want us to get above 1.855. We get above 1.855. I do believe you could take sales on GBP CAD. All right. Rest of these pairs I'm not really interested in. I'm gonna take a look at euros and AUDs though. Mhm. Okay, Euro JPY, absolute mess. I ain't gonna lie. Been very, very ugly to trade the past several weeks. I still don't really have a preference in terms of what I wanted to do. Definitely looks like it's about to clear these highs. So, that'll be the first step. And then whatever bridge we cross when we get there, we'll be able to adjust. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave Euro JPY alone. Euro NZD, pretty much the same as GBP NZD. It's just not really good looking pairs in my opinion. Um, sure it helped to go down a little smaller, but this could very well be a strong hezzy. Then the market pushes into this bigger area of supply, then it gives you a weak one. All right. Okay, so he did tap into that one. Hmm. Uh-oh. But so yeah, I say as long as we react within this area, we should be okay on Euro JPY. Obviously, we did just clear lows inside of this point of interest, which is definitely a good look, right? It just shows that the market really is creating a strong low. You're in the area of demand, and on top of that, the market creates a strong low. So now I can come down to the lower time frame, see if there's any other signs that I can pay attention to. I like to see the market push down a little more. Take this low out. Wouldn't be surprised to see something like this happen. Create a low, pushes up. Market doesn't really give you a clean hezzy though, right? Then the market comes and cleans that low out. After, we clear this low out, market pushes up, gives you a bit cleaner hezzy. So the low of the hezzy, I'm gonna put internal range liquidity. Then as the market pushes up, it makes equal highs. So now you got a few things working in our favor, right? Step by step. Strong low. This low lower than this one. Hezzy off supply. Weak low creates our internal range liquidity right there. Then the market crosses over bullish. After we cross over bullish, we create equal highs, meaning that this is a target, right? Not only is that a target, you got a lot of other liquidity resting over to the left as well, right? So with that being said, even though I never really trade Euro NZD, I might have to see what this talking about. Look like a solid trade setup to me, right? Like a solid setup. Euro AUD, Euro NZD a little bit cleaner in my opinion. Ooh. Yeah, yeah, that was Euro NZD. All right. Euro NZD. Solid setup right here. Remember, it's not about what happens, it's about where it happens. Here we get a hesitation, sweep of the low, crossover bullish. Here we have a hesitation, no sweep of the low. So if your hezi doesn't give you a liquidity sweep, then it becomes internal range liquidity. This hezi gave us a liquidity sweep. So this is a strong low now. So again, I look to take trades. I look to take buys in between the strong low and internal range liquidity. And for sales, it's the same thing, but I'm now just looking to take trades between my high and internal range liquidity. So this is the pocket between the low and internal range liquidity. The market is pretty much already tapped into it, hit that 50% point, which is good. So when the market comes back here, we about to get active. All right. So we gotta be patient. Let the market come to us. Check the chat real quick. Yes, sir. That's a bullish hezzy for sure. That one look good too. That one look good. AD CAD is pretty much a mess. It hasn't moved all last week. I'd say AUD USD is gonna keep dropping as well. Um, Looks like a solid setup to me. As you can see, we are clearing highs. Same concept, just in the other way. Look at what's going on. We taking highs and we making weak lows in the process, right? So that tells you, all right, you can take your sell here, target the lows. Now the question is, when we get to this area, is this area going to cause the market to reverse or something? I'm going to say no, just because of the position. Again, it's not what happens, it's where it's happening. So I get it. Technically, if you look close enough, that could be a strong low, but it's also happening after we had a huge bullish rally to where the market probably needs a relief period. So what's more likely, us respecting this and going higher, or us coming to take out all of this internal liquidity, this whole pocket we got sitting here full of money. I feel like that's more realistic than the potential of it reacting there, especially when you got this area imbalance sitting here waiting to be tapped into, and you got all these weak lows in between them 2 points. I could definitely see that. Right, I could definitely see that. So yeah, so that'll be my target for later on this week. Once we get there, we'll probably be able to get some buys on AU, possibly, maybe. We'll see. All right. Yeah, I don't see nothing interesting there either. I'm missing anything? I feel like that was pretty much everything. It kind of went quick though. Um, yeah, gold. I think gold can fly. Hopefully, I mean, I hope it comes back actually, just because I want to get another opportunity. Yeah, I actually hope it dropped one more time. If I can get another opportunity here, that'd be great. That would be awesome, actually. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe just maybe. Maybe just maybe the market want to show us a little grace. All right. We got a huge imbalance sitting right here. You may even be able to call this a heavy crossover as well. Market did react off that area of demand. So we got this. What else we got? Relatively equal or weak lows, right? So if it was up to me, I would definitely drop the market from here. We clear out the liquidity resting here, push into that imbalance, and then we get the real buy, right? The real buy that we've been waiting to get. That'd be the best case scenario if I want to buy this market, right? Best case scenario if I want to buy this market, but definitely have to be mindful that we could just get something quick and a continuation. Funny thing is, you could get both, right? Um, Depending on where the market opens, right, is going to be really important. If the market, starts dropping as soon as the market opens, and 2 hours from now, whatever the market's right here, we're sitting here, I may be compelled to take that buy right there. But then if the market just comes up here first, then probably gotta look at the reactions, see how they looking, and then I believe we'll probably get more sales, right? So it just really depends on what comes first. You want to just be on top, on top of that. Yeah. I mean, I don't really trade US 30 to be honest. So I mean, you might want to like trust yourself on that one. I can give you my analysis on Nas. If I had to guess, I say US 30 probably gonna do the same thing. But like I don't trade it. I don't want to like don't quote me on that. But if I had to guess, who knows? Maybe Nas drops first and US 30 comes clear as this. I'm not positive. I would like to sell above these equal highs though. And Nas is already above the equal highs or already above previous highs. So it looks a little different for me. Um, If I had to trade this, what based off of my eyes are seeing, I'd probably get in above these highs. But again, I don't trade it often enough to know if there's any delays or any what type of correlation. Because all I really trade is Nas when it comes to indices. So for Nas, I do have it dropping. All right, US 30, I got it dropping above these highs. So whatever we get first is what is pretty much what I'm going to go based off. So yeah, I hope we get that drop though. We need that. That would be nice. For sure, it'd be nice. So we'll see. We'll see. So far as Nas is concerned, I definitely want to take a drop. Um, all the way down to 19,000, 1982, 19,090. Right. We get underneath that point, I feel pretty confident about re-entering the buy possibilities. All right. Am I missing anything? I feel like we definitely flew through these pairs kind of fast today. But just a quick recap. I mean, it's Sunday anyway. These calls ain't necessarily supposed to be the longest in the world. But a quick recap. I want to see how the market opens up. Obviously, if GU can provide a re-entry opportunity, that'll be great for us to continue selling, right? I do believe we can come grab these lows for a bare minimum of a 1 to 10, right? If the market want to be real nice to us, we can come target these lows. You already see that risk to reward jump to 1 to 19. Okay. This is why all it takes is one solid trade to set you up for the week. Sometimes I get them on Mondays, Sundays. Sometimes you gotta wait until Thursday or Friday. It don't really matter. Just keep shooting, right? Keep applying the strategy with the edge. The strategy with the edge, the risk management. That's how you become profitable. All right. It's not just the strategy by itself, because anybody can be right once. I can give my phone to my daughter right now and tell her push the red or the blue button when the market opens. And she got a 50-50 chance of being right, right? Automatically. So it's not about being right on a trade by trade basis. It's about consistently extracting money out the markets, weekly or even monthly. Now, some people don't even look at monthly returns; they look at quarterly, yearly returns. Something that some people are more long term than we are. Us being, lower time frame traders, we could obviously, check our returns a lot faster than the average trader. So again, it's not about being right every time. We just want to maximize our earnings when we are right. All right. That's another one I ain't see. It's like sometimes you just got to go back and look at all the hezzies you really missed out on. There's so many of them. So many. Be something as simple as that strong high check, hesitate off a demand check, create equal highs. So the hezzy becomes what? Internal range liquidity every time. Then we cross over bullish. So we got our hezzy, or we cross over bearish, excuse me. Crossover bearish. Now the market retraces. Guess what? We don't get caught up right here because this is happening underneath. All of this sell off, all of this is happening underneath internal range liquidity. So we never have to get lost in the sauce, never had to get scared, never had to get, you know, break your rules or nothing like that. Whenever you see a drop off underneath internal range liquidity, it's a trap. Don't fall for it. Wait for internal range liquidity. Now that that's been tapped, boom, there's your real sell. So now, if I wanted to re-enter, it'd be a lot more high probability at this point, right? So, I would say this is going to continue dropping. Just about finding the right opportunity to take a trade from. Want to see how the market reacts once we get to this level. If we're reacting how I think we should, I'll feel comfortable taking that sell. All right. GBP CAD, I kind of already explained that to y'all. I do believe that's a trap. Also, it's a little bigger time frame trap, but ultimately, I do see the market shooting up there and then giving me another opportunity. USD CAD, I don't really trade. Euro USD, I can say the same. I will here and there there's nothing else, but not the biggest fan of that either. Gold, remember, it just depends on what we get first. If we come down, clear out this little consolidation here, market comes down here, I'll be willing to take it back up to this zone because remember, internal range liquidity is always the target. So if you know where the target is, like if I'm in a downtrend, right? Internal range liquidity got to get cleared before I sell again. So if I know that, then that means I could buy up until I reach this level. I know this is the requirement to sell. So if the market ain't gonna sell yet, that means all it has to do is buy, right? That's all it can do is buy. So, with this imbalance here, obviously I'm speaking hindsight because it's 2020. Previously, I was looking for a sell, but you just gotta be able to adjust. When I was looking for the sell, we ain't had this imbalance yet, right? And this imbalance didn't violate supply yet. So now I went from this being an area of supply to this being really a breaker block, right? So now the bias changes, and that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to mirror your analysis. At one point, I thought the market would come here and then tank, right? Come here and then drop. But once we blow through this level, leaving all this imbalance right here, you have to be able to switch your analysis. It doesn't mean you a dumb trader, doesn't mean you're not good. It's like it means that you're actually trading what you see. A dumb trader is unable to change his perspective, right? So being able to switch your bias, believe it or not, is actually a sign of intelligence, all right? So just keep that in mind, all right? As far as cryptos are concerned, I mean, buy some shit. I mean, it ain't too much to think about right there. Go ahead, buy some if you want. Um, can't hurt, right? AUDs, nothing. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, yeah. That's pretty much it. I guess it's only been that quick. It has been about an hour almost. So, definitely been on here long enough. We looked at what we needed to look at, got a little outlook, a little perspective. Obviously, this stuff can change. If you want to be able to, see when my analysis does change and see my perspective switch, it would be in your best interest to join the community where we've been trading live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, other calls as well throughout the week, evenings. We did a great call yesterday. I'll be uploading that video shortly after this one. So I'll drop the link to the interview that I did with a couple of my, Trade Genius community members. Um, and I feel like a lot of people got value from that call. Like a lot of people even hit me on the side or is in the comments of the Zoom call talking about how big of a help that was. So definitely looking forward to uploading that. While I also be in the process of uploading this video as well. So if you hopped on later, you missed anything, this video should be up momentarily. The moment I close the link, I'll go ahead and upload it. So be on the lookout for that as well. All right. Guys, if you're a part of the community and you're not funded up yet, I don't know what you're doing. Right. It's time to get locked in, really get funded up. Don't just be spectating on the sideline. Don't worry about how much you need and this and that. It's just you have to start somewhere, right? If you drop in penny lots, so be it, right? Do whatever you got to do. Put $50 in, $100 in, whatever you got to do to experience taking trades live. Just get it done because again, it's one thing to watch from the sideline, but to experience the growth in your account, and then you tell yourself, okay, well, if I had this much, I would have made this much, or all I got to do is stay consistent and I can grow. Like you get better by doing, not just acting. To know and not do is to not know. And a lot of people are know things, but not a lot of people do things, right? So it's not enough just to study. It's not enough just to watch. It's not enough just to spectate. Like I want y'all to participate, and I want to see who else is going to be on that next winner circle call we do in 2 weeks, right? That's the next update. It's supposed to be one call uh per month, but with the group, doubling in size as quickly as it did, I feel like it's probably it'd be in our best interest to do more calls frequently like that because a lot of people are having results, and I don't want you to be on a waiting list for months just to be able to share your story. So be on the lookout for the next call like that. We got a couple more calls adding to the schedule this week. So be on the lookout for that as well, guys. Other than that, though, that's all I got. I do appreciate y'all for tuning in. See you guys at the top from the top. The bottom's way too crowded. Much love, guys. Stay blessed. Lakers in 6.